As we close out this series on physical health, we hope this next conversation is helpful as you keep running your race in ministry.
Welcome to this called video series, Healthy Pastors, where we're going to be discussing a few areas of our lives that we should strive to be healthy in. You know, we could talk about a lot of areas, but we've kind of decided we're going to narrow it down to 5 parts of our life: our spiritual health, our mental, emotional health, our physical health, relational health, and financial health. And today, I'm here with my friend, Pastor Greg Ford from from Columbus, Ohio. And Pastor Greg, it is so good to have you here. Thanks for being a part of this. I know I've said it to you a few times, but One Church is quite possibly one of my top 3 favorite churches in our fellowship. Wow. Maybe number 1. I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but I love you. I love your church.
You fit right in.
Well, I feel like I'm right at home anytime I'm at One Church. And not a Buckeye, but I love your church, and I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for who you are in my own journey, but who you are in our fellowship. And so looking forward to just continuing the conversation around physical health. Yeah. Today we're going to be having a conversation around our physical health. And Pastor Greg, why don't you give us just a snapshot who you are, what you do?
Yeah, man. So first of all, it's an honor to be a part of this, and I'm glad that you guys are serving us this way. I think it's important. Obviously, man, all of us went into ministry to serve God, to serve people, and so that's the heart, right? But the reality is we are in bodies. And, our bodies are fragile, they're finite, but ultimately this is what God's given us to work with. And it's what ultimately houses our minds. And so the fact that we take care of them well, I think is tremendously important. And so I think, like what leaders often do, what parents often do, you're so focused in giving, pouring out, making sure everybody's supported, making sure everybody's got what they need, that often it's to the personal neglect. And like you said, that could be financial, it could be spiritual, emotional, or it could be physical. Yeah. And you put that on the back burner, and then people end up, ultimately, you're not serving people well, they end up suffering because we're not in a good spot. Yeah. So I think this is great. I think it's a wake-up call or a reminder for a lot of folks, and I'm glad to be a part of the conversation. So to your question, Greg Ford, One Church, Columbus, Ohio. We planted One Church through the Church Multiplication Network, so I will always have a tremendous fondness for the Assemblies of God. Grew up as a pastor's kid, so my dad was an Assembly of God pastor, so I went to youth convention and PK retreat and church camp and all that good stuff. And just again, huge debt of gratitude. But when we planted One Church, we did it the old fashioned way. We moved to the community and worked jobs. So I worked actually, ironically for this conversation, at a fitness club. So I was the front desk guy, and I went there because I knew I would meet a high volume of people, but also to me, exercise and fitness is it's as much a natural habitat as the church. Yeah. So, and I knew it was a place I would, be able to meet people, and it'd be natural. It wouldn't be like, hey, this guy's trying to sell me something or whatever. So, so anyway, trained through CMN, supported through CMN, and that was 13 years ago. So we, since then, bought a building, and God's been blessing it. It's been going well, but that's kind of our origin story. And through the time of being CMN, I've and the Assemblies of God, I've had a chance to travel and meet a lot of church planners, meet a lot of pastors, gone to a lot of different districts and things like their district councils, or you see a lot of districts now that are emphasizing development. And so I've done everything from going in to talk about systems and processes to preaching and whatever. So to see the cross section of pastors and what God's doing, it's inspiring, and I think it should inspire all of us to go, hey, I want to steward every part of myself, right? My heart, my soul, my mind, and my strength, my body.
I think there's a Bible verse about that.
I think so. I think it's like the summary of the law, right? He's like, what's the greatest commandment? Well, how do you read it, Mr. Lawyer? And again, it's a taking 613 laws of the Torah and talking about what's the purpose of it? So it's a big thing. And I think we should not neglect, our bodies. And so I think it's a great conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's just talk about it. Our physical health, is it important as pastors?
Yeah.
Is it something that we should strive to be physically healthy?
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah. I want to be clear. Like, I think, I was a athlete, football player, or whatever. I still work out. Some people probably, think, well, who's this meathead and what's he talking about? And so I want to be clear. I have no desire to make everybody six-pack abs, buff. I think, in fact, it's the wrong why to try to turn something into vanity. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a sore subject for a lot of pastors because a lot of times it's, they feel shame around their own physical health. I was with a pastor recently who he just kept talking about how unhealthy he was. He kept talking about his weight. And you could tell it was something that was kind of haunting him a little bit. And I'm sure it's not for lack of effort. I'm sure he's tried to diet. I'm sure he's tried to exercise and done that. And probably at certain points been healthier than he is now. And so I think it ends up being this really like heavy weight in someone's mind. I think sometimes it's drowned in shame for people. I think, again, a lot of times leaders who are really trying to handle their stress in the right way and don't want to go into some of the vices that would be more obvious sins or whatever they might do, might kind of pour themselves into food or struggle to rest. A lot of those things that end up now, the whole conversation for them is, like I said, strikes a nerve because it's just an area they feel hopeless. Like I can't get victory here and I don't like where I'm at. And so I almost want to act like, just push it out of my mind, pretend like it's not there. Yeah. But I think it's important. I think it's important for longevity. I see pastors, man, just brilliant people who have poured into their mind. They've been preaching, thousands of sermons. And so you in many ways, as you age, you're 50, 60, 70 years old. In many ways, you're in a certain kind of prime because you know more than you've ever known.
Right.
And then maybe didn't take care of the body. And so we start breaking down. I think it's important to protect. Yeah. And I do think it makes a good impression on people. I think you're showing them, like, you don't just get healthy like overnight. And, it's something you got to do every single day, day in and day out. So I think people respect that. Now, certainly you could be super healthy. And if you have no substance to what you're saying and doing, you're going to lose credibility quickly. But if you're physically not demonstrating health, I think you can overcome that in terms of earning people's trust, but I think it gets you off on the wrong foot. So I say, hey, let's stack the deck. Yeah. Let's be healthy in every one of these areas. Yeah. And ultimately, be the example to the people that God's given us. So I think it's tremendously important.
Yeah, that's great.
I just wish I could suck the shame out of it. I wish that for people that are watching that go, you know what? I've got a body issue. I'm embarrassed about this. I don't like how my clothes fit. I don't like the fact I run out of energy quickly. I don't like the fact that I walk up a few steps and I'm winded. I feel embarrassed. I wish I could suck the shame out of that because I think it's an obstacle. Yeah. And again, I think because we're so integrated in mind, emotion, body, that often even in the work that, happens in the physical health and transformation, it ends up impacting us probably more than we even think.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe there's somebody watching and they feel some of that right now. What encouragement would you maybe give to them if they're like, I want to be more physically healthy? Yeah. I'm a pastor, lead pastor, missionary, youth pastor, kids pastor, whatever it might look like. What type of practical advice might you give to that person?
The first advice I give them would be the exact same advice that they would give to someone who would walk up to them after their sermon and go, Pastor, I've sinned so much. Pastor, I've made a mess out of my life. Pastor, I'm so unhealthy in my relationship. Pastor, I'm so, and what would you say to that person? You would say, hey, look, today's a new day.
It's great. Yeah.
You'd say, anyone who's in Christ is a new creation. Yeah. And that means like, His mercies are new every morning. Yeah. Let's start today. Yeah. I know we know how we got where we are. Yeah. But today's a new day. You would be talking to them about the new opportunity and the hope. And don't you dare lock your future into what you've come out of. That's the rear view mirror. You glance in it, you don't stare in it. Let's look in the future. So you would instinctively say that to someone who came up with a sin issue or someone who was crushed emotionally. Well, it's the same for us. What do? We start where we are. We have to define reality. We got to find out where we're at. But then we got to start, like, instead of allowing ourselves to be completely demoralized by what things we didn't stick to or where we are, we start where we are. That's great. And we start moving forward. That's I mean, from a practical sense, right? There's a lot of things. It might be you get a partner. You get a partner. What do we do in our communities, in our churches? We go, man, we need to get you in a group. Or we get you with a mentor. We get you. You know what? Get a partner. I think that's big. Like, not everybody likes to work out with a partner. I know some people feel self-conscious or whatever that might be. But I'll tell you this, man. I've got a bunch of different people I work out with. If you say, hey, man, we're meeting today at 4 and we text up on it, Brian missing that. I'm not going to stand you up now. If you're not waiting on me at the gym or you're not waiting on me for the run or whatever we're doing, I might be tempted to just go, you know what, I'm going home, forget it, I'll tackle it tomorrow. But if I know Steve is waiting on me, okay,
it's almost like positive accountability.
It 100% is. It's the same thing we would tell someone who's having a hard time with pornography. We would say, man, you need to get an accountability partner. You need to set some guards on your apps. You need to throw so there's some things we need to clean out some cupboards, and you need an accountability partner. You need a friend, somebody that you can do. So it really does have a lot of the same correlation to things that we do instinctively over here. Just kind of think about it over here.
I love it. Let's look at your life. You're a lead pastor. You're a dad. You're a husband. 3 incredible kids. You've been leading this church for 13 years, a church plant. Shout out to CMN, by the way. How do you prioritize physical health? What does that look like for Greg Ford?
I think it starts by giving yourself permission to. So I think, right, like leadership and parenting is this whack-a-mole. You whack this one and this one pops up. And so you just feel like you're just, okay, so I'm always cheating somebody and I'm always whatever. And so I think, and I've experienced this before, I've had the feeling as I go and, you know what, it's whatever time it is, this is time I'm spending exercising instead of home playing with my kids, or time I'm doing this and I could have been there, right? And so I think in a sense, like, that could get away from you. And if you are never home because you're always exercising, that's not good. And so maybe for there, you set up to where you can do that and not take time away from your family. Whether it's scheduling it during your, there's no reason it couldn't be during your work day, that you put it in the middle of your day or whatever. But I've kind of given myself permission because I realize the healthier I am as a human being, I am going to be a better dad. I'm going to be a better dad on accident by being healthy. Okay. So I realize, like, instead of going, if I'm going to work out at 5 o'clock or something, and I know I'm not going to get home till 6:30, instead of beating myself up for that hour and a half, it is a way I'm serving my family. It's a way I'm serving my wife. When I am in good physical health, I'm more patient. Okay. I have a little better self-esteem. Okay. And with that good self-esteem, it's going to mean I'm going to relate to her a lot better and be, less prone to insecure behavior. I have, again, better energy to serve our church. So, and I guess I'll speak on a personal level. Depression runs in my family, both sides of my family. And so I notice if I'm not exercising, and then especially my eating habits start getting a little sideways, I start feeling a little funky in my head. I start feeling depression starting to come on. So for me, I realize by doing that, I don't exactly know. I don't know if it's just straight up endorphins or what's being released, or even if it's a sense of self-respect. Like, I did that. I did that today. You know what? I executed. It safeguards me mentally. So I would say, for me, I go, if I don't do this, okay, I'm hurting my family. I need to do it. And sometimes I still have a voice in my head going, oh, you ought to be home. You ought to be out, playing with your kid. Well, I will be playing with my kids, and I'm going to be playing with my grandkids because I'm going to have the endurance to do so. So I think giving yourself permission.
Let me ask you this question. What if somebody doesn't have an hour 45 minutes. Can they still get some good physical activity in
Absolutely.
if they got less than maybe their ideal optimal time that they would want? What does that look like? Has there ever been a time that maybe you're like, man, I don't have 45 minutes.
100%.
I got 20. What do you do?
Oh yeah. So I have a little a personal thing. I do something every day. Now sometimes it's 5 minutes, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had some days because to me it's like it's a matter of discipline. I'm like, I will do something every day.
Yep.
I've literally gotten out of bed because I'm going to do it.
I love it.
So that might mean holding a plank for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that really moving the needle in your health? Probably not. But you know what? You kept the streak alive. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know you, man. You'll do I'm doing a mile every day, and you're building it up, and it's not that mile is necessarily changing your life or whatever, but it's keeping the streak alive. Mm-hmm. And so, no, it doesn't have to be an hour. Which I would say two things: one, it doesn't have to be an hour, but two, you do have an hour. Yeah. You do have an hour.
Speak to that for a second.
You have an hour. Right?
Yeah.
We have an hour to do things that we think are priorities, things that are important. Yeah. So I can always say I don't have an hour. You do. Yeah. Or a half hour. Yeah. Or what goal are you trying to accomplish? There's a lot of times in a specific day, my day's jammed. It's tight. I don't. But for me to just go, I don't have time to work out, and to just sort of throw that blanket statement out there, I don't believe it. Yeah. You do. You could do it. Now, you might have to scrutinize your schedule and go, is this more important than that? Right. But we all have 24 hours in a day, man. Mm-hmm. Like you can make it happen. Yeah. And so, but I think like there are times I'll do a 20-minute, 30-minute bike ride. Mm-hmm. I'll do like a sprint bike workout. So I'll do 5 hard seconds and 55 cruising, 5 hard seconds, 55. You do that? Okay, sprint 5 seconds and then 55. It's like you go out for your run. If you go sprint as hard as you can for 5 seconds every minute, you're going to be huffing and puffing. Yeah. So you could do that 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. And get a little bit of cardio, get a good sweat. Okay. And guess what? We did it today. Yeah. You know, we put the hay in the barn. We got it done today. Yep. You know, and then what's up tomorrow? But I think don't rest on the excuse, I don't have time. No, you do. Yeah. We do. We just got to make it a priority. Yeah. It's great.
Non-negotiables. Talk with us. Any non-negotiables in your weekly rhythm or even daily? Are there certain things when it comes to your physical health that you would say this is a non-negotiable?
I don't think so. I mean, again, I have different things. I like I said, I do something every day. I don't think so. I think even especially like on the whole idea of like eating and what you're eating. I talk in one of the episodes that we did about doing something that's sustainable. Yeah. And kind of knowing where your weaknesses and your vices are. So like for me, I'm not a big sugar guy. Okay. So like I could literally not eat sugar for the rest of my life. I don't care. Yeah. I'm not a sugar guy. When we first got married, my wife was making cookies and stuff and I didn't even eat them. I'm not even tempted. It's not a big, now for me, carbs, tortilla chips, pretzels, popcorn. Okay. I can go nuts on that stuff, right? I've literally laid in bed and fantasized about kettle chips. Okay. I'm like, I know where they're at. I want to go eat them right now. So I know, like, I kind of know my weaknesses. Now I'm not going to go, hey, I'm never going to have another carb. Yeah. Okay. Cause I am. But I also, know what my vices are and go, I have to do that in moderation. Yeah. Here's this is super practical, but I would say that this would be a good way, especially in an area where you go, I can't do that. So let's say you have a sweet tooth, right? Okay.
Which I do. You do. Let's just be honest. I got a sweet tooth.
All right. All right. So this is a great example. Yep. Right? So the idea of you not having sugar anymore is probably, that's out, right? Like you're going to eat sugar.
I will have at least a gummy bear or 2. Yeah.
Okay. So with that, right, the idea of saying, hey, let's go cold turkey off sugar, that's probably not sustainable. It's probably not going to work. Yeah. But if you said, I really need to reduce my sugar, or maybe you're like, someday I'd like to cut it out. You can start by doing a little bit at a time. So you go, hey, what's one sugar intake? Like what one thing you could do? So I see you're drinking black coffee. Do you ever do sugar in your coffee?
Never do sugar in my coffee.
Okay. So let's say somebody that's like, hey, I'm going to have to keep eating these cupcakes because I love them. But, I can do coffee without sugar. I could do something else.
Yeah.
Right. So you go one of the sources. Well, like what are your sugar sources?
My sugar sources would be sweet candies. So like gummy bears, Starburst, Skittles. I mean, I could go on if you want me to.
Okay. And by the way, it feels weird to be talking to you about health because you're about the healthiest dude I know. But my point is, if you said, you know what, I know this isn't good for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons. I'm not here to be an evangelist for being sugar free, but you know, right? And you could. And what you want to do is say, okay, Starburst. You just said Starburst, Skittles. Is that what you said? Starburst, Skittles, and gummy bears. Okay, you just cut one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And now we're going to cut the other, and eventually you could cut them all.
Yep.
So I think, one of the things that is inspirational for a person is progress. I made progress.
Yeah.
And so any progress
feels good.
Oh my gosh,
feels good to make progress.
It's number one.
Yeah.
It's more than a motivational speech. It's like you made progress.
Yeah.
And when you don't make progress, it's demoralizing.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten quinoa? Okay, worked out, sweated, whatever. At the end of the week, you get on the scale, it didn't move. That is so discouraging. You're like, bring on the Ben and Jerry's, right? But man, you go and you do something, and you execute, and you see the thing move, or you see it with runners.
Yeah.
Like, man, I could never run a marathon. You're like, well, forget a marathon.
Yeah.
Let's run a quarter mile.
Yeah.
You do the quarter mile.
Yeah.
And then that's a piece of cake. When next thing you know, they're doing a mile.
Yep.
And then 2, and then
Yep.
you build on it. And that momentum of like, dude, I ran 5 miles today. I used to be out of breath at a quarter mile.
Right.
It is addicting. It's exciting. It's motivating. So I think you can take that same kind of thinking into what do I need to remove from my diet? Just like what we would do with discipleship. What do I need to remove from my mind?
Yep.
What do I need to remove? What are the sins I need to take out? Right? And then what do I then need to fill my mind with? Whatsoever things are pure and of good report, think on these things.
Make sure to check out the other videos that are a part of this Healthy Pastors resource. We'll see you on the next video.